Hey, it's Dr. Miller here. I'm really excited to have this conversation today. We were thinking, so many people have very good reasons to have rhinoplasty, and there are, however, 10 reasons that we came up with why you should definitely not have one. And I want to go through those 10 reasons today, and if any of them resonate with you, then really you should be thinking twice about having a rhinoplasty. Naturally, we should also write down 10 reasons or even 20 reasons why you should have one, but let's go over the 10 reasons why you shouldn't have one. Number 10. Number 10 is to please family or friends. Now, a lot of these may very well, incidentally, be very obvious, and only you are going to be the one who knows the real answer to these questions, and that's what really matters. I will honestly try to tease them out sometimes and identify them and be honest with you if I see you, because I don't want to operate on you if you fall under one of these 10 categories, because all of these 10 categories have one thing in common. They tend to be associated with patients who ultimately aren't happy. And the definition of a successful operation isn't if I or 100 other people think it looks great, it's if you think it looks great, if you like the result. And if you don't like the result, then it's not going to be a successful operation, right? We want to make sure that you're happy. And these are in many ways 10 reasons why patients tend not to be happy, because they're not doing it for themselves in the first place. They're sort of getting pushed by either family or friends. Sometimes daughters and sons do it for their parents, and I would really ask you to be mindful of that. Are you getting sort of pushed into this procedure by one of your parents, or are you doing it seriously because you're interested, or is it a boyfriend or someone else? And we're going to get to the boyfriend point. Number nine is to get more popular, to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a spouse, and to improve your social status. It's hard for me to find these patients, and let me phrase it, it's hard for me to identify which one of the patients who comes in is in this category. So be honest with yourself. What's your real motivation for having it done? Because it won't do this. It's unlikely. It's not going to make you more popular. It's not going to get you a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's not going to get you a spouse. It's not going to go ahead and improve your social situation. Sort of. And the reason I say sort of is that one really great thing about rhinoplasty that I love is the self-confidence that I see in patients, the sense of fantastic, it's called aesthetic confidence. They all of a sudden feel really good about themselves. And for that reason, yes, they, as a byproduct of the operation, they end up becoming perhaps more popular, having better social, more social comfort levels, and or make themselves a little bit more available for a spouse, boyfriend, and girlfriend. But I wouldn't do the operation for that purpose. You do it because you want to have it done, and then this becomes sort of a byproduct of it. There's no doubt that this can definitely happen, but again, it's a byproduct. So, number 8, to get a job or a promotion. You're not going to get a job by getting a nose job. You're not going to get a job by having a lot of facial plastic surgery. You're not going to get a promotion, again, unless what it ends up doing is making you feel better about yourself and it increases your confidence, in which case that has this really interesting trickle-down effect, which inevitably could get you a promotion or could get you a job. But again, it's about primary motivation. Don't do it for that one. Don't do it for that purpose. Number 7 is, I'm not to 6 yet. Number 7, to make the nose look good in the mirror under all lighting conditions at all angles. Never going to happen, okay? The mirror is can be something. A mirror can make you look great. A mirror can make you look terrible. The next time you're in a store and you're trying on clothing, you all probably have noticed that some mirrors make you look terrific and some mirrors make you look really, really bad. Naturally, if it's a clothing store, it should probably make you look terrific in all the clothing that you're trying. But mirrors are predictably unpredictable in what they're going to show you, particularly with the surrounding lighting. So you're not going to look predictably and consistently good in all mirrors under all lighting conditions. And believe it or not, again, the people who know this most are my models. My models patients are the ones who totally understand that they will spend a full day getting shot, thousands of photographs, and maybe one will come out that looks great. And they're the ones who are aware that I have to educate a lot of my patients that you just don't look great in every single angle, in the mirror in particular, with this kind of rebounding light. So don't get it done if all you want to do is look better in the mirror, okay? Number 6, if you assess results based on people's reaction, not your own assessment. I ask you to really be honest with yourself, because this is something that I can't assess when I see you for the most part, but I see so many patients after surgery who look amazing, who genuinely, and I'm being serious, they genuinely look amazing, who come in and they're unhappy, and when I ask them why they're unhappy, they say, because John told me I don't look good, or Billy said that it doesn't look right, or my mom thinks it's too this or that. And I'll say, well, what do you think? And they just repeat what they just said. I go, no, what do you think? And they go, well, I sort of like it. I'm like, okay, but that's not enough for them to feel good about themselves. They are so influenced by what everybody else thinks that they can't be happy with the result that they have. So if you're going to constantly assess your results, and for that matter in your life, your achievement and your happiness, based on what everyone else tells you, don't have this operation. We're doing it for you. You're the only one we're trying to make happy, okay? And we make patients happy, okay? Number 5, if you don't appreciate that this is surgery, which though very predictable, still has some uncertainty based on how you heal, don't have the surgery. So again, this is surgery. I'm a sculptor, if you will, but I'm not sculpting in wood, I'm not sculpting in concrete, I'm not sculpting in marble. I'm sculpting using skin, which contracts, bone that heals sometimes irregularly, cartilage, which has memory sometimes. And while there is a tremendous amount of predictability, which is why obviously patients have the surgery, it's not 100% predictable. And if you go in assuming that it's an absolute guaranteed result, then you might be disappointed. Certainly, I hope you won't, and the vast majority of my patients aren't, but there has to be an appreciation that this isn't something that's an absolute guarantee, no problem, because I cannot control how you heal, and every single one of my patients heals differently. It's the one variable I don't have control over. Number 4 is, if you aren't happy with the unified vision we created, don't have the surgery. Now, what do I mean by that? The unified vision is the after photograph that I'm actually drawing up, that you and I are looking at and determining whether or not we like it. And it's fascinating because I would say 90% of my patients come in, they know what they're unhappy with. I then show them the result and they absolutely love it. The other 5%, they're not exactly quite sure, or they really don't like it, which is fantastic, because if they don't like it, then they're like, you know what? I didn't think that I like my nose, but you know what? Now that I see all these other options, I actually do like it, and that's great. That's maybe only 2 or 3%, but in fact even less, but it happens. The ones who I will turn down are the patients who come in, and no matter what I show them, they don't see one that they like. And if you know what you don't like, but you don't know what you do like, you're not a candidate for the surgery. You really have to know what it is that you want, not just what you're running away from or what you don't like. Number 3, we're getting there. Number 3, you are undergoing a difficult transition in your life. Never a good time to undergo any kind of facial plastic surgery procedure. Maybe some Botox, maybe some fillers to make yourself feel better. But if you're really going through a difficult transition, this probably isn't the best time to have any facial plastic surgery, long-term result procedure. It's better to hold off on that. And we'll pick that up, by the way, and we'll let you know. Number 2, we're getting there. Number 2, if you are immature, I don't mean an adult who's immature. When we're evaluating more like teenagers and younger adults, if I get a sense that there's someone who isn't mature enough to undergo the transition that inevitably occurs from a personality perspective with a change in the face, and then they're really not a candidate. This pertains more towards the younger individuals that I see in the practice, That being said, I have to tell you, most of the teenagers who come in who do ask for this procedure are incredibly mature. Sometimes I would say more mature than their parents. Don't repeat that, kids, if you say that. Don't tell your folks I said that. But the number one reason why you should not have facial plastic surgery, or in particular rhinoplasty, is to make a consistently perfect selfie in every lighting situation. Selfies have been the best thing for my practice, and they've been the worst thing for my practice. And the main reason is that everyone expects selfies to be always showing a terrific result. Selfies are worse than mirrors, and that's why they became number one. And here's why. Selfies are taken with a camera lens on your phone that is wide angle. Now, wide angle causes distortion of your face. Worse when it's close up. Not as much if you're standing really, really far away. But by definition, selfies are taken at arm's length, not that far from your nose. And the wide-angled lens always makes the center of the picture bigger than the other part of your face. So selfies always end up looking terrible, but there's a trick to selfies. And here's a wonderful trick. Ready for this? This is a little bit different, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The trick to selfies is find out which side you actually look better on. Your right side or your left side. Because you will look better on one or the other. The problem is, if you're right-handed, you almost always shoot your right side of your face. It's hard for you to go like this. So if your left side is better, even if you were a righty, shoot your selfie with your left hand, and vice versa. That's how you can get some good selfies here. And you always want to sort of look up. You never want to shoot down, okay? Or you'll position your head so that you get as good a selfie as you possibly can. But there's no way a rhinoplasty can give you a consistently perfect selfie under every lighting conditions. I've had patients come and see me, showing me pictures that they're so unhappy with the rhinoplasty I did. It looks terrible, and I'm like, really? Because it looked pretty good to me. And they send me a picture. It's a selfie of them lying down in bed, taking a picture of themselves like this under the worst lighting conditions imaginable. They look nothing like themselves at all. Even if they were to just get up and take the selfie, look at the selfie, and then look in the mirror and say, wait a second, no, this isn't right. I don't look like this selfie. And yet they still compare the result with how happy they are with that photograph on their camera. Don't have surgery if you're going to use that as the criteria. I'm going to make another video one of these days which actually shows something really interesting. What I'm going to show is how distorted the nose is on a selfie, and then I'm going to make the selfie picture look better using digitals, and then I'm going to show you what the person would actually have to look like in reality so that they look good in that selfie. It's going to be a little trickery, but I think you'll really enjoy it. So that's the number one reason why you shouldn't have a rhinoplasty. It's all about making you happy and for you to feel comfortable with this procedure. And our job at Gotham Plastic Surgery in my practice, and Marissa, who's my lovely physician assistant, who's also been kind enough, I hope your arms aren't hurting with all of this holding of the camera. But our job is to make sure that you're happy, and we don't want you to be unhappy. If you fall under any of these categories, think twice. And one of the things that we're doing when we see you is actually assessing to find out if you are in any of these categories so that we can help you decide not to have a rhinoplasty. You probably don't hear many facial plastic surgeons saying that. You think that perhaps all they would do is, sure, come on in, but not in our practice. Our practice is really committed to making sure you, the patient, are happy, and that means that you're doing the procedure for the right reason.